Hey everybody, welcome to another newest, latest, best mini. This time talking about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, if you know me at all, you know that I am a Marvel zombie from way back. Marvel was always closest to my heart. I love the Marvel characters, the Marvel Universe, the comics I was infatuated with as a kid. But I did love DC as well, and Superman is very, very close to my heart. I have this little mini me, this little mini Superman with my head on him. That it means a lot to me, and that character means a lot to me. Um, if you've seen my channel, if you've subscribed to my channel, maybe you saw my Man of Steel review, and you saw how heartbroken I was by that film because I really thought Zack Snyder missed the mark with the character. But that didn't stop me from having very high hopes coming into Batman v Superman. There's so much built into this movie, so much world building, so many other films, peripheral films, Justice League films, other characters that are going to branch off from the storyline. Introduction of Wonder Woman and Batman, this version of Batman that's the first since the Nolanverse version. And I was really hoping that this movie would make me love Zack Snyder's universe and the new Warner Brothers template for where DC is taking these characters. And for the first hour, yeah, I really thought we were doing it. The first sequence of this movie in particular, I should say there's not going to be any major spoilers here. I will talk about a few things specifically, but I'm going to really stay away from big plot spoilers, so you don't need to worry about that. But I will mention some scenes in particular that I don't consider to be too big of a deal. But the movie opens very much from Batman's perspective, and it's Batman's perspective on the first movie, on Man of Steel. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're in that sequence, and it really gets why Superman is so impactful to people from a ground level. It has that wonderful looking up and seeing Superman from afar and marveling at him. Because it's from Batman's perspective, from Bruce Wayne's perspective, really, from the city as it's being destroyed in that first film. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this movie going to retroactively make me like Man of Steel more? Is it going to actually accomplish the thing I was hoping it would? And really, there's some really interesting, cool stuff that happens in the first hour. I really dig Ben Affleck's Batman. I think he's a fantastic actor to play the part. I really think he plays a great Bruce Wayne. He looks awesome in the bat suit. We get some cool Batman stuff. It really is a Batman movie to start. And there's some cool character moments at the beginning, and we're sort of getting into understanding how this world is a little larger than it was in the first film. And then it just completely goes off the rails. And it is another example of how I think this version of this version of Superman really doesn't understand the character, or at least doesn't understand the character that I love. It is not an expression of the Superman that I fell in love with, that exists in the comic books, that I think is that ideal. Truth, justice, and the American way. Is that something to be admired and that sets a standard and an example for people on the ground to look up and say, look up in the sky. It's something to aspire to. There is no sense of aspiration in this movie and in either of these Zack Snyder Superman films. And I think that is a massive, massive missed opportunity. It is such a shame that the thing that is Superman is he will do the right thing. He's the Boy Scout. And in a movie where you have Batman versus Superman, historically we have 60 years of comic books or more of comic books pitting the ideologies of these two characters against one another and butting them up against one another. And sometimes they work in tandem, and other times they find themselves at odds over the years. But the reason that they're at odds, if ever, is that Superman is the Boy Scout, and he is the best of us, and he is the ideal to which we all strive, and he will always do the right thing, and he's always struggling to do as much of the right thing as he possibly can. He will not kill. He will treat every human being with dignity and respect, and will try to save everyone. And Batman is going to get those bad guys. He's going to do what it takes. He's going to stoop to their level. He's still not going to kill. He's still not going to use guns, but he is going to do whatever it takes. He will get his hands dirty. He's not the Boy Scout. And therein lies the conflict. Therein lies the Batman v Superman. In this universe, Superman is the same as Batman. They're both dark, gritty, do whatever it takes kind of characters. The very first thing we see Superman do in this movie is take down a bad guy, and he's very much a bad guy, and he's very much got Lois Lane in peril. But he takes him down, ostensibly killing him. We don't know for sure that he's killing him, but it doesn't look like a human being could survive what happens to him. And from then on, always Superman is handled with a level of fear and darkness. That is the thing. I mean, there's literally a shot in this movie of Batman's image being burned in effigy, right? The populace is terrified of this creature. And there's so much made in this movie about God versus man. Is this a God? And is he to be feared? Is he to be, does he have too much power? And these are very modern, interesting concepts. I just don't think they have any place in this kind of story because, yeah, I mean, you motivate your Batman to try to want to take down Superman, but there's plenty of reason for him to want to take down Superman without having the entire world have to fear him. Even in the one scene where we have Superman sort of idolized by the populace, he saves a girl from a burning building and everyone sort of idolizes him. Even then, he's strange, he's other, he's sort of worshipped as a messiah figure rather than something to aspire to, something achievable, something that evokes the best that is within all of us. And that's the true key. Superman is within every man. It takes belief and effort and not compromising and holding yourself to a higher standard that makes you elevate to the level that Superman shows us, right? Sure, he has superpowers. Sure, he's an alien from another planet. But he shows us all that you can be a good guy. While Batman shows us that if you have to stoop to their level and use fear and intimidation and darkness, and that's why there's a conflict between these two characters. So when both of these characters are dark, when both of them are brooding, when Superman walks into a courtroom and just stands stoically and doesn't appeal to the best parts of our nature, there's no conflict. There's no movie. There's just two dark, brooding, horrible characters that bum me out, man. It bums me out. Now, also, in addition to all that, you have this movie loaded down with like 2 or 3 major comic book storylines. And it collapses under the weight of itself. I'm going to be talking spoiler-specific stuff on the /Filmcast. You should listen to that. We will get deep into specifics and spoilers there. This is just a non-spoiler video to give you my impression. But it's a massively troubling movie. It's a very sad movie. The idea that kids that love Superman and Batman would want to go see this. I mean, there's 2 things we know about Batman, right? Is he doesn't use guns and he doesn't kill people. He does both in this movie. Every action sequence in this movie has guns in it. The front of the Batmobile has a Gatling gun on it. These are just, I think, to my money, completely wrong-headed approaches to these superheroes. And it really bums me out because an entire generation of kids, this is their... I mean, these are big deal movies, right? I mean, Wonder Woman shows up and there's so much going on. Now, when we get sort of those threads of other cool Warner Brothers DC characters to come, I think that's when the movie is the most exciting. It's most cool when you get those tidbits of how this is going to flesh out into other things. But the tone, the darkness of everything, it just permeates this movie, and it makes it such a bummer to see. And then we get this massive other second storyline. We have this Batman versus Superman storyline that I don't think pays off. And when they fight each other, there are so many why moments. And again, we need to go into spoilers to get specific about that. But I think if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't make any sense. There's so much wrong here, in my opinion. And then you have a complete second storyline. I mean, I really like Jesse Eisenberg. I feel like somebody told him he was playing the Joker instead of Lex Luthor because he's like playing the Joker the whole time in this movie, which is bizarre. There's so much wrong with this movie. And it sucks because there could be so much right. I think Ben Affleck, like I said, makes a great Batman. I want to see his Batman movie. I think that would be really cool. But I walked out of this movie completely bummed out. There are so many I don't know. You've heard me say it over again. I don't just need to repeat myself. I need to talk spoilers to really dig into all the specifics of what got me wrong. But the overarching idea is these aren't the characters I love. There's no sense of joy or exaltation. The action sequences, while cool, some of them are baffling. There's like weird dream moments that's like, what is even happening here? And always, always, always in this movie, the first thing we jump to is violence, and every character has a problem because they're just going to be violent rather than trying to be super heroic, rather than trying to be idealistic. The first thing that Superman does when he encounters Batman is attacks him rather than trying to reason with him. I want to love these movies. I really, really do. I want me and little Superman mini-me to have a Superman film that we can love that's more recent than 1978. Not this time, buddy. Not this time. All right, if you want to hear more, like I said, subscribe to the /Filmcast where we'll be talking about this movie in depth with my co-host there. And I hope it didn't bum you out too much. I'd love to hear what you think of the movie. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that like it. I think if you loved Man of Steel, you will love this. I couldn't. I didn't. I won't. It makes me sad. Best wishes. Subscribe to this channel to see more, and hopefully the summer will bring lots of cool stuff. I'm hoping Civil War is exactly what this movie is not. Thanks for watching.